Hey Gracie, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft for Essay 3. Overall, I think that this is working quite well. Um, I really appreciate the background information. This is a film that I am not familiar with. I am familiar with Studio. I think it's Ghibli. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm so sorry. But I am not familiar with this film. But I really appreciate the context here. It's helpful. The plot summary is quite clear, and um, I think that you have some good points of analysis in talking about symbolism and foreshadowing along with the honesty of the characters. I really like that. However, what I don't yet see is a clear thesis. So that's one of the main things that's throwing me off as your reader. I couldn't quite identify what the thesis statement is. I thought for a moment. Sorry, I'm rethinking this. I thought for a moment that it could be this, but then at the same time, I also kind of thought it could be this, but if it's this, it needs a little bit more. So to me, I need a clearer thesis statement here. So I'm not sure if one is present yet or if it's just not in a place where the reader can easily recognize it. So I'm a little lost on how to advise you for that, other than I can't locate a clear thesis. Let me offer you this though. This to me is very clear as your reader. So I love this sentence that you say: the Japanese animation from Studio Ghibli is known for its lighthearted classics, but Grave of Flies easily holds a reputation for being one of their darkest films ever made. I really love this sentence. Um, so but I wonder this. You say the lighthearted classics, but you don't go into those details. So as your reader, I know what you mean, but if you think about the way that you're setting up this claim, it's probably a good place to pause and give some of those examples there. So when I think of these lighthearted classics, I think of Ponyo, right? My son loved that movie. I think Spirited Away might be Studio Ghibli. I might be mistaken, but I know Ponyo. My Friend Totoro. Right? Those would be considered those lighthearted classics. So if you could give us some brief examples to illustrate this idea, it would help. And then perhaps this is the next sentence that you need to present. This is what threw me off here. I think I like that you make this point, but I think that this is the wrong place for it. So think about how powerful this opening paragraph is going to be if you end here and then pivot here, right? Like to me, this is the cliffhanger. This is the cliffhanger that's going to make me go, yeah, what happens next, right? You know what I mean? But I mean, like this sentence, I like it. I like the background information, but it's just in the wrong spot, especially because it really doesn't have anything to do with what you're setting up here. So perhaps this is something that should come all the way at the very end in your recommendation, right? It's particularly that you're writing for a specific audience that may not be interested in watching foreign films, particularly if, as you say, they have to read subtitles. That's not me. I would be. I think I want to watch this movie now, and I can. I think I would avoid the dubbed version, but I understand why you brought that into the text. Um, and so maybe this is part of the thesis, right? That you are arguing that this is a dark film that this, typically lighthearted studio puts out, but that's what makes it special, unique, attention grabbing, whatever. It would be essentially considered an older film by today's standards, but maybe you're trying to make the argument that it should be watched despite its date because it's such a change in direction for the studio. I'm not sure. But I think that this could end up being a thesis statement, if that's really what your focus wants to be. So this is the place where I wanted the most tweaking, right? And then moving this idea to another place in your paper. And I really think that it's probably best suited in your conclusion in the recommendations section. So I really don't have much in terms of feedback, but I think this small movement is going to transform this opening paragraph and transform your opening paragraph in a really powerful and delightful way for the reader, because you've got some good writing in here. All right. Let me know if you have questions. Keep at this one. I think it's working as a whole. So I look forward to seeing where you take this. Thanks.